Hi everybody, Rob here in Bakersfield, out on the back patio, and welcome to this week's Throwback Thursday. This is part 3 to one armed angry mob versus one officer. And this will be episode 3, the final chapter of it, what happened on Monday and what I find out when I come back to work on Wednesday. Now in part 1 I told you about getting the radio call on a Saturday morning and having to go confront the armed angry mob and disarming them and sending everybody home and going and taking the burglary report, and then finding out that there were other people there who had also been burglarized, and they weren't happy with the reports officers had taken, so I told them I'll be back out Sunday and talk with all of them once I found out what was going on with their reports. Part 2 was what happened on Sunday, where I go out and pretty much spend my whole day in between radio calls going out and redoing reports that officers had done sloppy jobs on, hadn't taken felony burglary reports, had basically taken petty theft cases instead, didn't bother collecting the evidence or getting witness statements. In the process of doing that on Sunday, I found a witness who identified who the suspect was by name, pointed out his house. I had gone over to his house to arrest him, but he wasn't home. So when I got back to the station at the end of watch, I gave all that information to my sergeant, who had me pass it on to the detective sergeant, and they were supposed to go out the following Monday, and the detectives were going to arrest the guy. Now, I was off Monday and Tuesday, so when I came into work Wednesday, I went into my sergeant to find out what the status of the case was, and he told me that the suspect had been arrested, that the detective had gone out there on second watch with the female officer that worked the beat there, and that they had also taken a couple of more crime reports from people that weren't home on Sunday when I was out there. That's all fine and good. People weren't home, I can't take the reports from them. She took the reports, and she went with him to make the arrest. So everything's all fine. So after lineup's done, I go out to the parking lot and I'm loading my gear into the car, and one of the other detectives comes out and wants to talk to me. Well, he wanted to give me a heads up and let me know that that burglary detective and the second watch female officer were dating, that they were boyfriend and girlfriend, and that they had basically went out. He had her make the arrest, so she got credit for it. They had done a couple more reports, and then he had her go around and contact all the people I had talked to on Sunday and file supplemental officers' reports to go along with every crime report that I had done, and had basically made it out to look like she had been working with me on all those cases and had helped identify the suspect, and she was responsible for finding out who he was and making the arrest, and that her boyfriend, the detective, was putting her in for a commendation. And the lieutenant was approving it. And I wasn't getting shit. I wasn't even getting any recognition for what I'd done. And he just wanted to let me know how I was getting screwed over. And I thanked him, appreciated him letting me, giving me the heads up, but I was a little pissed at the way they did it. We were talking about it, and I was telling him, well, that's a bunch of fucking bullshit, to be blunt. And I was done loading all my gear in and ready to go, and we turn around, and there's the boyfriend, the detective, standing at the back door listening to the whole conversation. Well, I give him a dirty look, I guess, and he's looking at me. Well, I jump in my patrol car, and he comes running over wanting to talk to me, and I told him I got a radio call, I ain't got time to stand around and chit-chat, and I take off and leave. Well, end of shift comes around, and I get back in, get all my reports signed and turned in, and I'm in the locker room putting all my gear away, and the boyfriend detective comes in, wanting to apologize to me. Admits to screwing me over, but he's got a reason why. his girlfriend is pregnant, and they're planning on getting married soon. And he wanted her to get a promotion and get off the streets and into investigations in the office. And by stealing my thunder, so to speak, at what I had done on it and getting her the commendation was going to get her a promotion. Well, I was still pissed about the whole thing, but I understood the reasoning why, and I told him, well, that was probably a good thing because she was a crappy patrol officer anyways. Well, he didn't appreciate that comment. You know, he kind of got all puffy like, and I told him, well, I didn't appreciate what he did, so, you know, I guess we're even. And we just kind of left it like that. Well, needless to say, a couple months later, they got married, and I wasn't invited to the wedding. A couple months after that, she went on maternity leave on light duty and got put in investigations, working with her boyfriend. And I guess it was probably, I think it was right before the baby was born. I think they finally got married. And that was when she went off on maternity leave totally. When she came back, I don't know what happened to her because she didn't come back to our area. So I don't know where the hell she went. Didn't really care. But that's just kind of shitty, backstabbing bullshit stuff that happens, and that's what happened to me. After all the hard work I put on this case and everything, but you know, that's the way stuff goes sometimes. I don't know if you all were expecting some kind of exciting finish or whatever, but you know, it's not really an exciting thing. It's just a little insight on the BS backstabbing bullshit that goes on in the city and the departments working for the city. And I guess you could even say being a female, taking advantage of the fact that she's a female. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not against female officers. There are quite a few I'd much rather have back me up on a call than some of the male officers, as they had the guts enough to back you up. I'd rather have somebody that could face their fears and jump into a fight than somebody that is too afraid to do anything. So, anyways, that's it. Next week, I'm going to come back with some totally different stories. You know, maybe something funny, maybe something exciting, but that's it for this series. Thank you all for hanging in there with me on this three-parter. I hope you enjoyed getting some insight what goes on, and see you all next week. Bye-bye.